Welcome back to the Rory Talks Football channel, your daily Arsenal news, updates, debates, and my opinion. If you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. We hit 2,500 subscribers yesterday. I am massively appreciative of it. And if you could drop a like on the video as well, that massively helps me. Now, I want to get into my keep, sell, loan of the entire Arsenal squad going into this summer. I'm also going to round it off with what would then be my ultimate starting 11 at the start of next season. But first, I did just quickly want to say, it's come out this morning, supposedly, William Saliba's new contract is actually 4 years with an option to extend by a further year. So that is even better than we initially thought. It effectively keeps him down until 2028 if we were to pull the trigger on that option. So very good news on that front. But look, let's get into it because there's lots of players to get through. Starting with the goalkeepers. Ramsdale, obviously keep. Matt Turner, keep. Runarsson, sell. He's just not made it. Hein, I would send out on loan. He's still young. And Okonkwo, I would actually keep. I would have him as our third choice keeper. He's done well out on loan last season. He ended the season at Sturm Graz. But I think it's time. Basically, I think Matt Turner will leave at the end of next season. I think he came with the genuine ambition to compete for the #1 spot, and I just don't see it happening at any point. But he is a good enough keeper, and he's getting to the age where I think he moves on. But at that point, I'd like to have seen Okonkwo with the senior squad for a season to then maybe take up that #2 spot. I know Arsenal have spoken about bringing in a third choice keeper that's really experienced, similarly to how Man City have Scott Carson, but we haven't done that. It doesn't look like we are going to do that. I think Ben Foster was actually an option last summer, but we didn't do it. And so for me, I think bringing in a young player like Okonkwo, who's been really impressive, would be a good option. And then, of course, you'd also have Hein coming back from loan. Maybe those two youngsters battle it out next season. But like I said, I think Matt Turner will end up leaving, but he gets another season. So they'd be the three keepers that I would take into next season: Ramsdale, Turner, and Okonkwo. Into the defenders, Ben White, obviously keep. Tomiyasu, keep. I don't think we can sell him this summer, even if we wanted to. I do still massively rate his versatility if he can stay fit. He can cover every single position across the back four, and that is very important for us. I mean, this season's not going to be great because it sounds like he might not be back from injury by the start of the season. I think he also goes off to the Asia Cup in the middle of the season, but I just think we have to keep him. Cedric, sell, or give him away. Either way, he can't be at the club anymore. It's just, he's useless. It might be that we have to pay off his contract to get rid of him, but it is what it is. Ruel Walters, I'd send out on loan. I think he's a fantastic youngster, and now he needs to go and hone his skills and play at a good level. I think probably in the Championship, just to sort of grow up and learn the ropes and learn how to be competitive in those sorts of games. Saliba, obviously keep. Rob Holding, sell. Austin Trusty, I would sell. It just doesn't seem like he's going to cut the cloth to come back. I think he was Birmingham's player of the season in the Championship. Rangers are interested in him, but they don't think that they can necessarily pay his wages. But I would sell him, and I think we'd go out and buy a player that's more suited to backing up Saliba. Gabriel, keep. Kivior, keep. Zinchenko, keep. Tierney, sell. I do think it's time to sell him. If we don't sell him now, we'll never get good money for him. I think we can get 30 to 40 million for him if we sell him this summer. It's clear that he is never going to suit what Arteta wants from a fullback. As sad as that is, as much as I love Tierney, it just is what it is. So sell him and also sell Nuno Tavares. Marseille don't want him back. I don't think we'd be able to loan him again. He's never going to play for Arsenal, I don't think. It sounds like he has attitude problems as well. So sell him, and I don't think you'd get a lot of money for him, unfortunately, either. But we didn't pay a lot of money for him. Into the midfielders. Ainsley Maitland-Niles will leave on a free. Thomas Partey I would keep. Jorginho I would keep. He's being linked away, but I've been looking at this midfield, and actually I think we're going to end up if you lose Jorginho realistically and or Partey, you're going to need to be buying 3 midfielders this summer, which I think is very difficult. So Partey and Jorginho I'd keep. Obviously Xhaka we're selling. Lokonga I would loan with an obligation to buy. The ideal scenario would be loan him out to Burnley with an obligation to buy if they survive. It's exactly what we did with Pablo Mari at Monza. I think it makes the most sense. There is still potentially a chance for him at Arsenal, but he's got to go out and prove it. El Neni, I would sell. Now, we gave him an extra year. Well, we gave him a new contract of a year when he picked up his injury. It sounds like it might be possible that he'll be fit by the end of the summer transfer window. And if he is, I think at that point you sell him. Get a few million for him because he's just... I love him. He's not good enough for what we need. There is no game and no circumstance next season, because I want to be fighting in every competition. There is no game where I'd be like, play El Neni. That just is what it is. We've gone up a level from those days. So sell him. Charlie Patino, sadly, we are going to sell. And I think, I agree. Sell him. Ødegaard, keep. Fabio Vieira, keep. I know some people want to send him out on loan. I actually think it's just better off keeping him. We don't actually have that many options in that sort of Ødegaard role. If he can bulk up over summer, there is a really creative player there, and I still think he deserves another chance. And Smith Rowe, keep as a midfielder. And then into the forwards, Bukayo Saka, keep, Jesus, keep, Martinelli, keep, Trossard, keep, Reece Nelson, keep. And they are the big five going into next season. Pepe, sell or release. It sounds like we might genuinely have to just cut ties and release Pepe, which is an unbelievable waste of money. It was a terrible decision to sign him for what we signed him for, but it is what it is. He's on a lot of money. We need to get him off the books. Eddie Nketiah, I would sell. Because I would keep Balogun. In an ideal world, it's probably not going to happen. It's probably going to be the other way around, that we keep Nketiah and sell Balogun. But personally, I would sell Eddie and keep Balogun. And then Marquinhos, I would send back out on loan. Any academy player that I've not mentioned there, I don't think is probably going to ever make it into the senior squad. However, I would either loan them or sell them. Obviously, there are players like Miles Lewis-Skelly who will continue playing at academy level, which I think do have the potential of making it one day. Same with Ethan Nwaneri. But anyone else that you can think of, Brooke Norton-Cuffy, players like that, I just think ultimately you're probably going to end up selling them, unfortunately. We're not in the same position that we were even 3 years ago, where players like Saka could quite comfortably break into the first team. We're not in that position anymore, and we shouldn't be going forwards. So ultimately, where does that leave the squad? It leaves us keeping 20 senior players. The homegrown quota would already be met, so we wouldn't actually go into the transfer window having to buy homegrown players, which is an advantage, even though we probably will with Declan Rice. And it leaves 5 senior spaces remaining. So 5 spaces for players that were born before the 1st of January 2022. 2022. So I think that's quite good. And if you look at where those players need to come from, realistically, those 5 players, 2 need to be defenders, 2 need to be midfielders, and 1 probably needs to be an attacker. Which I think is decent. I really do think that leaves the squad in a reasonable position. And then, so what would be my ideal starting 11 if we got the transfers that I wanted? Well, it would be Ramsdale in goal. It would actually still be White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Zinchenko as the back 4. It would then be Caicedo and Rice, with Ødegaard in the midfield. And then it would be Saka, Martinelli, and Gabriel Jesus. I actually think the only 2 positions that I would change going into next season would be Caicedo and Rice into the midfield. And I think that is a starting 11 that can win any game against any team. I genuinely do think that. So that leaves us going into the transfer window. Like I said, the majority of the budget for me has to go on Rice and Caicedo. And after that, you're looking at bringing in depth. So whether that's Castagna as a right back, various centre backs we've talked about that are in the 20 to 30 million range. I mean, I've seen today Jurriën Timber basically saying he wants to leave Ajax this summer. I would love it, but I don't think it's going to happen. But that's where we're at. That is where we're at. And then obviously going forwards into next summer, you can start looking at bringing in better options, maybe at right back or wherever we need to upgrade next summer. But for now, I do think it's Rice and Caicedo. And that would be how the squad looks. So let me know, do you agree with all of that, with any of that? Which ones do you heavily disagree about? Am I getting rid of players that you would keep? Let me know. Please do, as I say, subscribe, like the video if you enjoyed it, and I will be back tomorrow with another one. Cheers.